All right, hello everyone. You all know me, I am Kylie Storr. Again, you know that. I have my mom here, I have my sister here, I have my niece here who's 16. I have my husband who's holding our baby.
I'm 32.
My husband's 32. My sister's holding her baby. And then I have my dad who is not gonna laugh at me the whole time. So my informative speech, I decided to talk about feeding your baby and that transition period from breast milk or formula to solids, and how that's a daunting time for parents because realistically, as adults, we don't eat the same meal every day. It is one of those things where we get to choose what we eat. We have a variety of foods that does depend on allergies and whatnot, but this transition for parents is often a hard time because there's so many different, there's so much misinformation. I also have a cold, so I'm sorry, this is all like bad. There's so much misinformation on allergies, when to feed babies, what you can feed them, and just when to hit those milestones after the age of 1. So I want to go through how we introduce those foods, which foods are scientifically proven to be better for development, and how to best prepare yourself for those common allergens if those arise. So starting foods can often look the same: smashed, pureed, basically pulverized to completely nothing. That's how a lot of parents first started. Whether that's good or bad, it's really up to you because it has no effect on the infant. Purees, okay, so the benefit of purees and starting slow, working upwards, it's a lot of times more comfortable for parents. They tend to feel less like it's choking hazard. The CDC has proven, however, it is just as much of a choking hazard. And so technically, because they haven't prepared themselves to swallow that food, they haven't moved it around on their gums, and they haven't felt it and actually pushed it back with their tongue, it's just as much of a choking hazard because they haven't had that prep work. Baby-led weaning, which was the opposite hand, where you are feeding your baby solids, there's a lot of misinformation on that as well. Do I prepare it in strips? Do I give them small crumbles of food? How am I letting my baby eat a solid food when they've never had anything except for a fluid their entire life? The benefit of this is that they're starting to develop a palate early on. They're less picky because they have more variety with food, and so they can choose to pick up certain foods and have a preference towards certain foods early. Now, there are guidelines on you cut it in strips at a certain age, from 6 to 1. 1 after that, you can give them smaller portions as they develop that pincer grasp. Talking about allergies, we most commonly know honey, things like eggs, peanut butter, those are not off limits, but just definitely have to be heavily limited. Honey before 1 year old can cause infant botulism. That's pretty common, and most people do know that you cannot give a baby honey before 1. After, however, it's safe in small quantities. Sugar is another one that's like super controversial. Sugar should not be given to a baby before 1 year old. After that, it can be introduced in juices and other things, but it really should be heavily limited. Same with carbs, things like that, because there's just no nutritional substance, or not a lot. Peanuts, eggs, things like that should be introduced early on. They are super beneficial to their diet as far as healthy fats, things like that, avocados as well. But if it's proven that introducing these foods early on actually is increasing the amount that kids are free and clear of allergies into adulthood. So that's another CDC reference that I found. Most of this stuff you can find in the CDC website under the infant and dietary tab. But realistically, it's beneficial to just give your baby, a fed baby's a happy baby, so that's what's important. But it is important to know that there are certain foods that are dangerous to your baby and that you have to do your research. And that's all.